Good morning and welcome to Book Club Corner. Welcome all those across Trinidad and Tobago. We are so happy to have you here with us on Book Club Corner. It's a beautiful sunny day in Scarborough, Tobago, where we are at the Tobago Updates studio. And we have with us today an amazing author. But before I introduce her to you, I'm just going to say, listen, all the fetters, I know you all finally get over the October Carnival, right? So you're back at work and school and doing everything you have to do because you get yourself sorted out. But all those from the Horticultural Society of Tobago, you all are at the food hub today. So if you are up and about, out and about in Tobago, please feel free to drop by the food hub, which is opposite the Shore Park Cultural Complex, and check out the Tobago Horticultural Society. I'm just saying hi to the president, that's Chrisanne Daniel, and her team who is down there today. America. What are we going to do with you, America? Yeah? They're waking up to a new reality today, and all the best with your choice. So there we have it. Kamala, you did such a fantastic job. I was really looking forward to seeing you in your pearls and your jeans and your sneakers and your hot outfits. But here we are. So I'm so happy I live in a society that is really, really giving women an opportunity to lead as we should be given, right? And a space to be out there. Anyway, we're not going to say any more about America. They're going to deal with what they're dealing with. But we want to introduce our amazing author today. Her name is, let me tell you, Jacqueline Bennett. And she is the author of Broken Women Can Be Healed. She's the founder of Women with a Plan. And she's an entrepreneur and also the owner of Jackie's Nail and Accessories. And we want to thank her for being here with us today. She's going to be talking to us about her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Well, thank you. This morning, I just want to say thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
On set with you, Jewel. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Same here.
I am excited to be here this morning. This is like an outing because I came all the way from Trinidad, you know. So I am happy to be here with you.
I'm so glad when authors take the time to come across to Tobago to hang out with me on Book Club Corner. I really enjoy their company and I know we're going to have a good time. Y'all, if you see Jacqueline's shoes, listen, she's a hot, Jacqueline is a hot stepper out. Listen, Jacqueline, I'm feeling to do ya, Wendy Williams. Put out your foot. Let me see if we could.
I can lift it. I can lift it.
Listen, look at this. This giving me 60 fields, clogs, palazzo pants, bell bottoms. Come the man, Jacqueline, this shoe's hot. Oh my gosh, what is it? Hotter than a chulta?
True.
So good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here. And listen, we're going to have a great time. As you know, on Book Club Corner, we have, we have a relaxed and chill time. We are sipping on some wine from Lashley, Luke Lashley. Luke, you're my new best friend. How are you, Luke? Thank you so much for the wine. The wine got here in one piece. This is a wine company, local wine company and winemaker in Trinidad. And Luke has sponsored some wines for this show. And we are drinking this morning Blooming Bliss. Listen to me. With these kind of names, right? You're looking out for damage. And we do the 5 S's of wine tasting. So we look at the wine, we look at the clarity. This has a nice yellow hue, and I really like it. Yeah? And then we swirl the wine. We're looking at the legs, the sugar content. This one isn't that sweet, which is great. I'm seeing some legs, but not too many. And then we sniff the wine.
Not too bad.
Yeah, and I'm getting more subtle notes. I'm not getting, that fruity scent that hits you.
It's mild.
It's a nice mild scent.
Mild yet interesting.
Yes.
So you want to know what you're going to drink.
I like you,
Yeah.
Jacqueline. And then we're getting to sip and savor. I'm getting some hints of some woody, nutty, earthy hints. I'm tasting fruit, but I'm also getting some very, it's not that sweet, which I like. I'm not a fan of very sweet wines. I love the drier ones, and this is giving me some dryness. Luke, you knocked this one out of the park. Thank you for that.
I think a bit of herbs in here as well.
Yes, you're tasting some earthy, nutty flavors. Listen, guys, we're going on a quick break, and we're encouraging you. Get your drinks, get your snack, whether it's government juice you're drinking or you're drinking regular wine. You know, Christmas is coming up. You already did your sorrels and everything. Get a cup of juice, get a cup of drink, get a snack, and come chill with us right here on Book Club Corner as we chat with Miss Jacqueline Bennett about her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, all bibliophiles, authors, publishers, wherever you may be viewing Book Club Corner from. We welcome you back to the set today. We have an author, Jacqueline Bennett, with us today, and she's discussing her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. This is the month of November, and in November, a lot of persons take the opportunity with NaNoWriMo, and if you don't know what that is, go look it up, right? But they take that opportunity to write for the entire month of November. 1st of November is Author's Day, and we want to discuss, Jacqueline, your inspiration for writing your book. I look at the cover, and let me tell you, I like it. It's striking. You have some piercing eyes. But what I really love, I love your glasses frame.
Thank you.
Yes, you're serving here on this book cover. What was your inspiration to use your face on your book cover, as well as how you have the words behind you? Broken Women Can Be Healed. Tell us about this title. And tell us about the cover of the book.
Well, firstly, writing a book have always been something that I wanted to do. I always, told myself, before I leave this earth, I need to write a book. I never thought about what I was going to write about, but I knew it was going to be about me. And during my time, I'm 45 years old, and during my time on this earth, I think is my God-given talent or God-given privilege to be able to inspire others. It have been something that I do every single day.
Yes.
And one day, I work at an establishment that requires me so much time and effort. And sometimes I sit at my desk and I'm like, you are doing so much for this establishment, but what are you doing for you? Are you actually fulfilling the dreams and desires of your heart? And I really asked myself that question really deep and hard. And I needed an answer at that moment. And that is when I actually decided I'm going to start writing. And I sat down at my desk and I started writing on a notebook. And someone called and I told them that I was writing this book, and they was like, mad people behavior. They said, just like that? How come you never mentioned that before? And I'm like, this is the time. I believe this is the time. I'm answering to myself.
Yes.
And I'm writing. So they said, what's the name of this book? I said, I'll figure that out.
Yes.
And I started to write. I wrote for about 5 days. And then eventually I started to think about a name. And the name Broken Women Can Be Healed came up. I threw that out to them. They didn't agree, but I said, yes, this is the book this is the title of the book that I'm writing. And the book is going to be wholly and solely about me. One of the reasons that I actually chose to use my face on the cover was for persons that know me And even the ones that don't. I'm a new author. I'm not out there. I haven't been that kind of person that is well known in the community. You know, 1 or 2 people may know about me. But I said, if you put your face on this book, there's going to be a good strategy for people to find out who you are.
Yes.
And when I actually chose my editor, you know, I was telling her, when she asked me about the cover, I said, I want to use my picture. And she said, why? We could do so much other things. I said, I want to use my picture. That's 1, my sales strategy, and 2, that's for people to want to know who I am. I want people to know who I am, my struggles, where I've been, where I'm going, where I'm at now, and I want them to see a picture of me that would just gravitate them to what I have to offer, which is the book. And I must say it did work.
Yeah.
It
Would you
did.
call this book a memoir or perhaps a self-help development book where people can read it and get some sense of themselves and where they want to go and reflect and so on?
I would call it a memoir as well / self-help, because depending on where you are, this book can make a great difference in your life. You know, I've experienced it with a lot of women reaching out to me, asking me, you know, where did I get the courage to even start writing, to even put this outside there, because it has a lot of personal stuff that a lot of people would struggle naturally to put outside there in the public domain. And I try to let them know that this didn't happen overnight. This is something that have been happening so many years before. This is now birthed, but this didn't happen overnight. I gained trust with myself. I gained strength. I gained courage. I gained, you know, I gained the ability to just cope in spite of, you know, because I try to tell them too that though you may see me well put together and outside there smiling,
And you're well put together.
you know, I struggle with everything that you struggle with. There's no difference.
Yeah.
But I have found a way to really manipulate and navigate my life in such a way where I tell people I'm not a taker, I'm a giver. So I want, when I meet someone, I must be always able to deposit something positive and leave them with a legacy of love and sense of wantedness. So that's my aim always.
I love that. I'm feeling the strength coming off of you, and I really like that. I like that, you know, the book itself, as you say, a memoir. Memoirs are books that, you know, to put your face on the cover is the norm. And it works, because if it's about you, why not be about you, right? Why not put your face out there? And I like that you have done that with this book. When you say broken women can be healed, and I know you were telling us about the title, some didn't agree, you know, but you were sure this was it. What did you want to convey with this title, Broken Women Can Be Healed? And tell us about the book. If somebody was to pick up this book, who is this book for?
Great. This book is actually for the woman that have found herself to be in a place of hurt and loss of direction, giving up on herself and not knowing where to go forward from where she's at. This book, though it may say broken woman, this book speaks to men as well. You know, I did not want to generalize the statement because I'm not male, I'm a female. And I wasn't sure of how men is going to accept it. But with experience, I've realized that a lot of men have gravitated to me because of the book as well, because it speaks to broken people, you know. And brokenness is something that could tear us apart generally. And no one wants to stay there. Sometimes you may see a person there thinking that they're not moving forward and they're not doing anything to change the situation, but no one wants to stay there. Most times they don't know how to. So personally, my book is a straightforward book that tells you no matter where you are in life, where you have been, what you are dealing with now, you can grow. You can heal and you can move forward and you can become everything that you so desire.
Yes. There is a phrase, the broken woman syndrome. I don't know if you know of it, but it speaks to a group of behaviors, feelings, what we might call symptoms, because they are looking at this as almost a medical condition, if not a medical condition.
Yes.
Because brokenness affects you physically as well, psychologically, which manifests itself in physical ways. And they are talking about this broken woman syndrome in terms of, how do we help? Because what the doctors are seeing and the psychologists are seeing, they're seeing the symptoms. So people are coming to them with the issues, but then they're realizing something else is going on. Have you found that to be true in your experience with women and men in terms of being broken? And I would love for you to explain what you mean by brokenness, right? But have you seen this to be true in terms of the being broken in whatever way is affecting a person psychologically and physically, not just psychologically?
Yes. Brokenness has so many components attached to it, because brokenness comes with persons dealing with unforgiveness, persons dealing with physical pain, persons dealing with childhood trauma, something that would have happened so many years ago that they were not healed from. So yes, it will affect you physically and psychologically, and because of that you will display so many different personalities and different attitudes that persons may not understand. So that's why it's important sometimes to identify within yourself, what is your brokenness? Where do you need healing in what aspect of your life? Once you could identify it, it's easier for you to move forward from there. And acceptance is so important in brokenness, because sometimes we're dealing with stuff, and if we don't accept it, we could really not move forward from where we are. So acceptance is one of the first steps in really healing from that place of brokenness, because the healing of itself is also a process that will take place during that time of acceptance.
Yes.
So you must accept, and it makes the process a little easier, whether you're going to be dealing with it with a clinical psychologist or you're going to be dealing with it via spiritual persons who are going to be counseling you, or regular counselors on the streets who are going to be giving you, advice and stuff. You need to accept and allow for the healing process to take place, whereby you can move forward from that broken person to becoming healed, totally healed, so that you can be whole again.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, and I'm hearing, some what they call, I'm seeing and hearing some things that a lot of persons in society would be able to identify with. We're going on a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about, at what point do you identify as being broken? Or if you just have, some things to deal with. Is there, an area or time when you say, listen, this is past just having a few issues, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking to Jacqueline Bennett about her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. And this book is not just for men, not just for women, it's also for men as well. It's a unisex book, but she wrote it from her personal experience. So don't go far, get your snacks, come right back as we chat about Broken Women Can Be Healed.
You asked and Standard listened. The TGIS sale is back, up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,000. That's and standard listen. The TGIS sale is back up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999. And up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow Standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Book Club Corner, where we're chatting with the amazing, the inspirational and aspirational author Jacqueline Bennett, and we're talking today with her about her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. Jacqueline, while we were on break, you were telling me, explaining and talking about one of your experiences, and Jacqueline, I have to say,
We need a sip?
yeah, we need a sip for this one. What are we getting into? I had to take a gulp. That wasn't a sip. Trigger warning. I'm putting it out there. We're heading into some deep waters here, right? So please, if you know that you're easily triggered because you may have certain things that you're also dealing with, I'm just giving you fair warning. We're heading into a sensitive topic this morning, and this is something that I hope persons will be able to listen to, pay attention to, and to take it for what it is, an experience being shared. Jacqueline, I want to thank you for sharing and opening up. You say there are things in your book that are personal to you, things that other persons may not be comfortable sharing. Mm-hmm. Is one of the experiences in the book what you chatted about during the break?
Yes, please.
I would like you to tell us about that experience and tell me how you went from an experience that is meant to break a person to where you feel you are able to handle life. Yeah.
Okay. Well, viewing public, I am a victim of rape. I was raped at age 16. What can I say? I was a sheltered child. My mom protected me with everything she had. One day, whilst I was going home from lessons, I met this gentleman, this strange gentleman, on the way, just sitting by. I looked at his face, but I paid him no attention. Went home, did all my regular duties, went to bed, and by 2 o'clock in the morning, he was coming through my window, the windows of my home, with a knife, and he was hinting to me that I should be quiet.
So you're lying there, woken up out of sleep, and a man who is not a member of your family nor belonging to the household is crawling through an open window in your bedroom and telling you hush.
Yes.
And he has a weapon.
He has a weapon. In that moment, I was unable to even scream. I was scared, but I was unable to scream. And just looking at him doing me this, I knew I had to not scream. That was the best thing for me to do. You know, he came in. I normally would sleep with my lights on because I was scared of the dark. So he took off the lights. But, you know, I was able to look at his face and identify him to be the person that I had seen earlier. And he came in that moment, took the lights off, and then he sprayed me. Once he sprayed me, I knew nothing.
So he came prepared.
Yes, that was his mission as a broken man, I must say. That was his mission as a broken man. He was dealing with brokenness.
And you were telling me that there were victims before you?
Yes, there were 2 victims before me that I know of, and we all went to the same school. So
he was targeting school children?
That I knew that he had his eyes on us, and he was just going from victim to victim.
But he killed one of them, you said?
Yes, one of them died because she fought him. She was a fighter in school, so when he came into her window, she fought him and he strangled her. He strangled her. And of course I would remember those incidents. So I knew I had to not make any noise and allow that thing that I did not want to happen. Yes.
Well, he took you out of commission with that spray.
He did. And for want of a better word, I think that was the best thing that he would have done. Because, I mean, imagine you being up and away and someone is violating you like that. I don't know if I would have recovered to the way I am today. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So what happened when he left and you came back to yourself?
When he left, well, I was out. And by the time it was probably about 7 in the morning, my mom came to the door and she was like, I was hearing her, why is this door locked and the lights is off? She don't sleep with the lights off. So, you know, she asked one of my siblings to bring the spare key because she was like, why is this door locked? She don't sleep with the lights, you know, the door's locked and the lights off. And she opened the door and she's the first one that discovered me there, naked, wrapped in sheet. You know, and she started to scream because she knew that the inevitable had taken place because she was seeing the curtains moving, so she knew the windows was open, which was not normal. My windows would normally be closed, the curtains will be down, but you know, he was finished doing what he had to do, so he was just looking for an exit out. You know, so they just had to call the police and alert the neighbors and, you know, the whole dramas that takes place after the fact.
Sometimes you don't hear anything. Sometimes they don't say anything. Sometimes nothing is shared. So the community doesn't know. But luckily in your case, you sounded the alarm and people were aware what had happened. And to be on the lookout for this creep.
My family was one that would not keep it a secret because it was a public act. So you needed to put it out there so that other persons will be aware of
and
the
that
young
you could
children.
find him and deal with him.
Yeah. He's dead today though, because his wife turned up at the house and
After the incident.
Yeah, she turned up on the sad morning and she told my mother that she wanted to speak to her. And she told her that it's her husband that did the...
She confessed on his behalf.
She said he used to rape her every single day too and abuse her physically,
Oh, Jesus.
And she knew exactly that's what he was going to do. She didn't know who he was going to do it to, but she said he would leave a particular time every single night, and that was his motive. That was always his motive. So she said that her husband he's the one that did it, and if I could just tell the police, give a description of who he is, that would be so good, because she was also a victim of rape every day. Every day. In that moment, I used to be so scared. Jewel, I was scared because for me, I was a child, 1, and 2, this was some random person that I met on the street. I saw him on the street. So I wasn't clear in my mind if the police would be able to apprehend him and do what they needed to do, and that I would be safe. So I was scared to even talk. It took me a few days before I was able to actually identify and say, yes, this is what he looked like, and give a proper description. And so they were able to identify him, and he started to just be on the run. But the police didn't waste any time, luckily, and they caught him. And today he's a dead man, because he retaliated when they went at him.
Oh.
Yeah, he did. So, I was still not happy because he had already violated me. He had already taken away something that would never go back. He had taken away. For me, I was so broken that I couldn't deal with people. I could not even my relatives. My mom, they tried to move me out of the house, take me to other relatives' home. I was not comfortable there because I wasn't used to being there. But yet still, I saw my home as a horror house that went on for months. My home was like, it was not a safe place for me anymore. But you know what? When I saw the devastation of my mother, I had to pull myself together as a child. Yeah, my mother was not speaking. She did not speak for almost a year. She was not speaking. She was just in silence, and she would just look at me. And, being the child that I wasn't a child that would talk very much, but my mother and I was very close. So I couldn't deal with her not speaking. So I had to find a way to get my strength to encourage her.
To be okay.
To be okay, because guess what? None of us wanted this. I said, Mom, none of us wanted this. This was not something that I chose or you chose. And if we had to choose, we wouldn't choose this. So I had to constantly be talking to her and encouraging her to let's move on. Let's move on. Let's let it go. Even when I had the opportunity to go to counseling, I refused counseling. I did not want to, because I needed to be there for my mother. I needed to be there for her, so I didn't need to be the victim at that time. She was the victim. So I refused counseling, and I was helping my mother to heal from that place that she was at. And eventually, I became an adult and went on into my regular life and realized, hey, something is definitely wrong with you. You're not normal. You're dealing with the world. You have this hands-on approach to a lot of things, but you're hurting. I was scared. We couldn't speak here. We couldn't sit and have a conversation. I was scared. I was scared of people because in my mind, strangers could harm you. Everybody was considered a stranger to me, and they could harm you. That was the only thought that I had of anybody. So I locked myself into a world that was kind of different, and people would find me. I wasn't speaking, but I was arrogant. If you do come at me, I would carry on really badly. So they was like, she don't talk, but yet still she's so aggressive. Why?
It's to get them away from you.
They did not know. Some of them knew, and some of them did not know what I was actually dealing with. And that was my strategy. Not talking and separating myself from the general public.
Yes.
You know, so that went on for a lot of years until eventually I found myself and I started to seek help. And here I am today. A living testimony.
I'm so glad you're here with us, Jacqueline. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. You know, these experiences that women have, men as well have them. They're not easy to deal with.
They aren't.
They're not easy for us to hear. The ones who love people, you know, who've been through this. And it's not easy for those who are in it to deal with. And I commend you for your strength and for the growth where you are today, you know?
And I give all the glory and thanks to God. Because if it hadn't been for that fear of God and growing up in a home where God was always the center, I don't think I would have survived.
Yes.
Serious. Because, you know, when you are a teenager and had to deal with rape, you know, you deal with a lot of peer pressure from friends. Because remember, those children are insensitive too. They see in the hands-on situation, but they don't understand.
No.
So they would say ugly things.
Yes.
They may taunt you. They did all of that. But you know what? You know, at some point in time, I had to accept the fact, hey, that wasn't your fault. That happened. That's a scenario. It's an unfortunate scenario, but it was not your fault.
Yes.
And at some point, I needed to let them know that too. That wasn't
so
my
glad
fault.
you did.
Yeah.
Listen, those viewing, just to let you know, if you are a person who has been raped, been sexually assaulted, please, there are persons out there who can help you. There is the Rape Crisis Society as well. Please go to the police, the authorities, and tell them what has happened. Tell a family member you trust. And family members, let me caution you, when you hear these things, as hard as they may be for you to listen to and for you to accept has happened to your loved one, it's 100% harder for the person who has experienced it. So please put some grace in that source, right? Put some grace in your family circle and deal with what needs to be dealt with. And police, you know, you're all out there listening. Sometimes people come to you and you may not be having your best day. And you may not deal with a situation as well as you should. But we're cautioning you as people come to you, as the public is coming to you for help. Please be mindful that we need your support, we need your protection, right? And we need you to be there on your best day when we're having our worst day. So just putting that out. And public, let's be kind to each other. Life is already that hard. It's short and it's hard, right? You don't get to spend a long time here, right? A lot of people, 70 years, they're thinking, oh gosh, I'll be here long. It's not long. It goes by like that. Please, let's be kind to each other. Let's support each other. And remember the old adage, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. Okay? Try your best and groom yourself to keep your lips together, as the Bajans like to say. Don't unpick your teeth. Right? Don't open your mouth if you don't have anything good to say. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about it. Think about it and keep it to yourself. Don't share it if it's not pleasant, if it's not nice, and if it's not supportive. So we're just putting it out there. You know, it takes a village. It takes a village, and we need to be able to support each other and help each other.
So true.
For those who are dealing with it, it's happened, and you never told anybody, find somebody you could tell, because it's not going to just go away. Okay? It's not going to go away. It's not going to just, boil down like Baji and disappear. It is going to well up. And even if you're not somebody who went through rape, maybe you went through something scary, something that traumatized you and has caused you to feel broken. We're reading today this book. Broken women can be healed. And I would even venture to say broken men can also be healed.
Definitely.
Because this perpetrator, he had to be broken. You can't do these things on a
Definitely.
as a whole functioning
Individual, no.
Yeah, in your
No.
right mind, having a good time in life, enjoying life. It can be.
No.
And, Jacqueline, I will venture to say Trinidad and Tobago has a lot of broken people.
Yes, I agree.
And we are not facing it.
I agree.
We're not facing it.
I agree.
It's only after they damage other people we want to have a conversation.
And sometimes that's too late.
It is, because this wife knew.
Yeah.
This wife knew. Some of us know people are going about their damaging other people.
Yeah.
And we are one of the persons they may have damaged, and saying to ourselves, I don't know what to do. Call the police. You don't know what to do? 911. Any about 911, 999. Listen, just dial 3 numbers until you get somebody. Look them up in the phone book. Look them up online. Look for the emergency services and tell somebody, because they're out there damaging people. They're not just damaging you in your household, right?
And the process continues.
There's a cycle.
When they damage you, then you damage someone else, and then that person damages someone else. So it goes on. Yes.
I remember growing up hearing a saying, don't bleed on those who didn't cut you.
Who didn't cut you?
I mean,
Is it true?
But that's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, because you don't know how to.
Everybody looks like they cut you. Sometimes something is so deep you cannot differentiate to say, well, is Mary Jo who said and not Tom.
Yeah.
So let me tell Mary Jo and leave Tom out. Listen, everybody gets.
Sometimes you just react.
Yeah, everybody gets in some of this, right? Anybody who come at me, they only might tell you morning. You get in some of this morning.
Yeah. Sometimes you just react.
Yeah.
You just react. But there's help out there, and we need to seek help, to be able to move forward if we want to be whole people. Because most times we have children. We have grandchildren, we have close friends, we have relatives that sometimes we want to bleed on, and we don't want to bleed on people who didn't cut us.
Yes.
So you need to be able to seek help so that you could move forward. Forget about the persons that may judge you outside there. We can't change the way people operate. We can change the way we do things. That's important to us. The way we do things, we could fix us. We can't fix anybody. So sometimes we just need to look at the positive aspect of it and move from there. Take baby steps. For some people, it may not be easy. Don't try to take giant steps because it may not work out. Take baby steps, and gradually, you are going to get there. Get in the company of the right people, speak to the right people, have the right conversations. Sometimes we talk and we don't talk the right things. We need to have the right conversations with the right circle of people, and we can grow. That's important.
Jacqueline, you hit the nail on the head just now when you said sometimes we do have the right conversations. True. Some things we think is joke, they're not funny. They're not funny.
Yeah.
I remember my husband, something we were talking about. I can't remember the exact thing, but he's this type of person. He enjoys a crass joke from time to time, right? That's not my cup of tea. He think, some
and
guys
be on the floor. Ooh,
guys, they think it's funny and hilarious that you are appalled, right? And he's there telling me this joke, and he having this conversation, and they were talking, he and some guys, and they were talking, and I said, you may not be in that place where what you heard may sound instructive. I say, but trust me, there is somebody in that group who thought they heard an instruction and not a joke. I say, you all need to be careful. You all don't know each other well, because as men, you all just know people's first name and the pet name. Sometimes you only know the pet name. You don't even know what the name is. Well, he named Fat Boy. We named Krabby. And you're like, what is his name? He has a name. No, that's his name. That's what everybody's calling. Black Boy. That cannot be the person name. That's the extent of what you know about them. You don't know how people will be affected by certain conversations. So sometimes when you throw out things thinking, it's a small thing. It's small for you. It's not for them. It sounds instructive to them. And they may go and do things based on what they think the group will accept and what the group is there laughing at, and it's okay, it's not funny. We are living in some very serious times. Very serious times. And we need to be mindful of the type of conversations we're having within our peer groups, whether we're adults, old people, geriatric, whatever, children. Please be very careful of the conversations you're having. Some may be funny, but the instructions to others to go do things, okay? Just putting it out there. We're going on a quick break. Take a breath. I tell you, some heavy stuff today, but it's necessary. This is necessary. We need to be talking about these things. We're going on a quick break. Go get your snacks, get your drinks, get your food, and come stretch out with us, relax yourself. As we come back, Jacqueline is going to be reading to us from her book, Broken Women, and I will add, Men Can Be Healed. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Action.
Welcome back to Book Club Corner, where every Wednesday we chat with local authors, Caribbean authors, publishers, booksellers about the literary arts, about their love of the written word. And we're here today with Miss Jacqueline Bennett talking about her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. Jacqueline, before we went on, first of all, I see you had cock up the foot, and I think the shoes were showing.
And then,
Jacqueline,
then I felt uncomfortable.
Y'all, if you were here from the beginning, Jacqueline has on a pair of shoes. They're giving me some 60s there, boy. Oh gosh, I love it. But Jacqueline,
Here's a flashback.
All right then.
Here's a flashback.
And look, all the little tacks at the side.
Here's a flashback.
Jacqueline, I love it. I love a good pair of shoes. And we're talking about a serious topic. Being broken, not just for one specific reason, but whatever happened to get you there. How do you differentiate? Because you were talking about being able to admit that you may need help. How do you differentiate between, let us say, I feel I would like to speak to somebody versus I need to speak to somebody. I do not want to continue life like I need to speak to somebody. This is too much. How do you differentiate between those two spaces and places?
That may be a bit technical, but it's something that we all must do. We must do some introspection at some point, because as you mentioned earlier, the old saying, don't bleed on people that didn't cut you. There will be people you as a broken person may affect and effect, and they will speak about it. Some of them will come at you aggressively, and you may be in denial. You might be reacting and thinking that they are overreacting, but they are offended based on what you said or what you would have done.
Yeah.
So at that moment, you need to start checking yourself. After one or two persons start complaining about the same issue that they're having with you, or you looking in the mirror and you seeing the same thing popping up over and over, you need to start to do some introspection to find out where you at. Where am I at? Do I need help? And where am I going to get help?
Yes.
You need to. It's important that you do. When it happens that way, it's easier to welcome the help that would come forward. But when someone has to push you to that place, going to that place may not be as easy as they think, because they have to push you. You need to be self-motivated and know, hey, I'm definitely needing some kind of help. Whether it be good help or bad help, something had happened.
Yes.
I need it. So from the time you could identify that there is a problem that need addressing, whether you know what the problem is or not, once you're willing to speak to the necessary department to deal with your issue, you could move on from there, and you could move on healthily and happily to make everyone around you comfortable. But once you're not identifying that you have an issue and you need help, you'll always be a problem.
Yeah.
People will eventually pull themselves away from you.
I like what you said when you said, and I think this is one of those, what they call tweetable moments, right? When you said, if you're noticing a pattern that people are having the same issue with you over and over again, you are running into the same problem over and over again, it may be time to think about what do I need to do? What's happening internally?
Yes.
What's happening psychologically? Do I need to address this? And I think the answer would always be yes, if you're running into the same things over and over again.
Is it me?
I like that.
What is it? What am I doing different that is affecting that person or those persons? We need to ask ourselves those questions.
I love that. I'm just going to put this out there. For me, sometimes, and this is for all the people who may not know where to get help. And of course, we have quite a number of places to get help, whether you're calling, in whatever situation, the Rape Crisis Society, suicide hotline, the police, the protective services, or whether you're calling therapy, you're looking for, somebody to talk to. I find if you don't know where to start with this. Help. Internally. Just say it. I have found that sometimes when it is you are the universe, God, whatever you want to term that external divine, eternal power, when you say, listen, I need some help, I don't know what's going on, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised what could happen. True. So just putting it out there, you may not be in a place where you feel anybody's going to hear you, anybody's going to help you. There may be no help. That's what you may be thinking. I would venture to say that you're wrong. Just say to the universe, say to God, whatever you may be thinking is out there. Help. I need some help. Please get to me and help me, as Kevin Hart likes to say, right?
Yeah.
Help me. Right? We're getting into this book. Before they take off the lights, turn us out, Jacqueline, and put us out.
I'll also like to make mention that I also founded there's a women's community that we try to reach women. That's a mandate that we have. We want to reach women because some women are not comfortable just opening up.
Yeah.
But we try to make a safe space where they can come, they can call, we can meet them. Sometimes we meet different places where is your comfort zone and we just allow you to just open up. None of us is going to take your story to carry it anyway. All we want to do is help you. All we want to do is see you grow from that seed into a beautiful flower, the flower that you ought to be. And, I'm just putting myself out there, extending myself. Give yourself the opportunity to move from where you are. Trauma doesn't always have to be rape. Brokenness doesn't always come from rape. Brokenness comes from different things in life. But once you feel you need to speak to somebody, I am available. And there are so many other people on the team that will be available. And we are here and willing to assist, to help. Because we want you to be the best version. Are you okay with sharing
your number?
No problem.
Please let the viewers know what your number is.
My number is 723-0961. I'm happy to share my number with you because I want you to become the best version of yourself.
Say that number again for them.
723-0961.
Please give Jacqueline a call. She's here to help. If you need any support and you feel you watched the show, you've listened to her, and you feel a good connection with her, she's a darling. Give her a call and let's work from there. But before we go, we have to hear from Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I'm ready with my wine, with my Blooming Bliss from LLW Wines, and I am ready. Please take it away.
Okay. I'm just going to read a bit on chapter 3. Chapter 3 actually deals with recovery, because after going through all that you're dealing with, you're going to the therapy, you're moving forward. Recovering is important. Recovering doesn't take place overnight. It's something that happens with time. So I'm going to read just a short paragraph for you, from recovery. Dealing with my ordeal. As time went by, I started to come to terms with the fact that I was dealing with an event that I had no control over. One day while reflecting, I said to myself, Jackie, this is not your fault. You never asked to be assaulted. You will never wish this on anyone. I had to reaffirm myself that I must move on from this unpleasant experience or I'll be stuck in a rut for life. From that moment onwards, I developed a boldness, a courage like none other. Maybe a bit nonchalant, and this attitude was new to many. I had purpose in my heart to stand up. I promised myself to stand up against any type of injustice to myself and anyone that had been a victim of rape or otherwise. I never wanted to be silent again. It led me on a journey to self-consciousness and awareness as I read many motivational books that opened my eyes to who I really was. People became the priority. Amidst my healing process, I was deemed rude. That was the opinion of some who could not relate to the pain of my past. In the past, I was very quiet, timid, and shy. However, since it did not work for me, a new Jackie was born. I recognized that I needed to be more assertive on what I was saying or doing. I had a sudden change in personality. Probably that was my coping mechanism, but it became my new mantra for life. That never changed. For those who can relate, maybe it was also a mask, since I was still hurt, yet I was trying to be a stronger and better woman. Not necessarily a superwoman, but just someone who could stand in defense of myself and lend support to others around me. Now I was empowered more than ever to embrace my personal decision-making ability. I loudly harnessed my ability to say no.
I love that. We're ending on a positive, negative. No is 2 letters. It's 1 word, full stop. And it's something we all need to learn to use. We're here with Jacqueline Bennett. Get her book, Broken Women Can Be Healed. Jacqueline, where do we get your book before we go?
At present, my book is mostly sold in Trinidad. I have it in 2 stores, which is Fine Prince Bookstore, as well as Scribbles and Quills, that's in Shogunas, Lanch Park. You could also contact me, 7230961. And as of today, I'll make it a mantra to make it available in Tobago as well. But you have my number so you can call, and it's always possible for me to get it across the Tobago for you. That's not a problem.
Very good. I love that. Listen, don't be afraid to reach out to Jackie. Whether you need the book or you need some hand holding, Jackie's there to help you and to hold your hand and to walk you through any support you may need, as much as their organization can give. We want to thank her for being here with us today. Jacqueline Bennett, Broken Women Can Heal. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in today with us on Book Club Corner. We love to have you here where we could chat about books, about some deep issues, about things that affect us as humans and humanity. And we want to put out there, please, be kind to each other and don't bleed on those who didn't touch you. That means you may need to go get some help somewhere so you don't repeat that cycle of brokenness. Please get the help that you need and try to make sure that you live the best life that you can possibly live. Don't live a half and mediocre life because you're broken, right? So we're thanking Jackie for being here with us. Jackie, you want to...
Thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I have to do a toast.
Thank you for having me, Jewel.
Cheers to you.
I love your
book.
Personality.
Thank you.
Thank you much for having me, and I really appreciate this opportunity because, we live in a society where there are a lot of broken people.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes they are sidelined or sometimes forgotten. And because of that, people suicide, You know, they end up in all sorts of things that just to distract them from the pain that they're dealing with. So I'm really happy to be here to just share, to allow people to know that you don't have to stay there.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Beautiful. Cheers to you. And cheers to life. We're talking about brokenness, but cheers to life. Because past the brokenness, there is a fabulous life that you can have. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, when we chat with another amazing author. Stick with us here on Book Club Corner every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Tobago Updates. Find us on the Facebook page, on social media, and as well, if you've missed the episode, it's put up on our Book Club Corner YouTube channel. We'll see you next week, and please be kind to each other.